Hi, Linda.
I missed the big one.
Yeah, you've been saying that for a while.
I love that van.
Yeah, that stays off island now. That's
It's still alive?
That's my hotel on wheels.
It's still alive.
That thing's like I haven't spent a night in a hotel since I've gotten that thing. It
And
is
you're
like
over on the Cape
it's a mini. It's one of those mini houses on wheels.
Oh, that's funny.
You got to put your seatbelt on.
I'm just not used to being so low to the ground in your car.
I know. But you came with me last year and we did it in this one.
Did I do it in this one?
Yeah. I know. It just seems like yesterday, doesn't it, Linda?
Yeah, I wish it wasn't.
So here you go again?
Yeah.
Why? Why do you keep doing it?
I knew you were going to ask me that question.
It's got to be the first question. Why do you keep putting yourself through this, Linda?
Well, I appreciate you doing this for us this year, too.
I know.
It's not actually a selectmen's race. It's a planning board race.
I know that. Oh, that's right. Last year it was selectmen,
I think
wasn't
last year was selectmen.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I've been involved with zoning since, I was thinking about that this morning, since 1983, without a break.
So why don't you take a break?
I'm committed to it. I'm committed to the whole thing. I have so much knowledge. I'm committed to the town, the community, trying to make things better for people, and I feel like I still make a difference. When I stop making a difference, I'll stop hitting myself in the head with a hammer.
What will you do, though, if you don't do it? I mean, it's become a habit.
Find something else
Isn't it a habit, though?
Yeah.
I think a lot of...
It's a habit, but it's part of your life. Being with zoning for 35 years, it's just part of your life.
Right.
It's part of your everyday activity type of thing, especially being as the chairman of the planning board. It's sort of... It is what you do.
You must love it, though. You must love it, Linda.
Well, I like land.
Come on.
I like land use. I like solving a problem. I like maybe improving a neighborhood zoning. We've changed an awful lot of commercial into residential.
Yes.
Which sort of protects the people that built there with their residences in commercial zones, like all that stuff out on Old South Road on the left and Pine Valley and Mass, all that was commercial.
All right, now I specifically took you here, Linda.
Now isn't this a mess?
You're going to have to answer for this.
No, it's not
Do you
us,
think
it's
you
the
do?
town.
It isn't? Okay.
Nothing to do with the planning
Is development out of control, Linda?
Well, people think it's out of control. The problem is I think over 2% of the island is not developed, and people see a lot of the development in areas that are already developed, like Six Fairgrounds, which is over there. That's in an area that's on water, on sewer, on the bike path, on the NERDA, close to the schools, close to the Stop and Shop. So you see those things happening, and you think that the island is overdeveloped. But when you look at the percentages of what's protected by conservation, what's large lot development, and out of town, what's under wetlands and all the other restrictions, conservation, I've already mentioned that.
Do we need to be developing in this pace? I think a lot of people are like tired of the development at this pace. Can't we pace it? I know in the past you have always said, God forbid we ever put a building cap in.
Yeah, that just
Why do
drove
you hate that
everybody
idea
crazy.
so much?
There's weight drive.
So what?
It drove everybody crazy, and it drove, because it will do it again. It will
Why is it so different then than it is now?
More development, more subdivisions. It'll force people, like it did the last time, into developing and subdividing. If somebody doesn't want to subdivide, they're not going to subdivide right now. They don't have to. They're in the right zone. It's not overdevelopment. It is development. So
what's so wrong with that if the pace is slower? Look at all these. These are all off-island people that come here and work. Okay, if you had paced it, we wouldn't have these people here. Oh, come on.
Oh, no,
it hasn't been this crazy.
A lot of the local guys back in the day, I don't know about today, but back in the day, they priced themselves out of the market. They were slower. There's so much going on. There aren't enough electricians. Everybody's doing well. The local guys are doing well. The off-island guys are doing well. There's some expertise
Is that what
here.
you think? Everybody? Is that all you hear? Is that people are happy with the way things are right now?
Nobody's happy with development. I mean, I grew up here in the summers. My family's been coming here since 1929.
Exactly.
I would love to go back to 1929 or in the 50s when I was little here. That's not reality. We are a growing and thriving community. But here's the problem. A lot of the subdivisions people seeing are coming in are by right subdivisions. The planning board has no legal authority under the state subdivision control laws and other laws up at the state to tell you you cannot subdivide your property. If it's an approval not required, that's an A&R plan. The only time we can go after an A&R plan, we don't even have more than 20 days or 30 days to hear an approval not required plan. We can't even put them over to the following meeting. So people don't understand that a lot of what they're seeing now are long-time family owners that are now subdividing because their kids are older. Their kids need they need to sell one to put a kid in college. I see a lot of those little, those little
I
subdivisions.
can understand that.
And I'm not talking about the big one like Six Fairgrounds or Richmond. I'm talking about we get an awful lot of these small subdivisions by families that have held on to their properties for years, or they're creating a covenant lot so they can keep their own house, like I did. Now you've got somebody like Donnie Dimmick on Bartlett Road. He owned that 10 or 20 acres or whatever it was since I first got here in the 70s. And he is now deciding, he's getting older. We're all getting older. Our kids are getting older.
Well, that's one example.
We have other needs, but that was
But you don't think there's people that come here simply to spec out? You don't think there's a lot of those guys here, Linda?
Not as many as I've seen in the past. Not as many as I've seen in the past. As I say, I see more local families or families that have held on to property for a very long time subdividing. And that's a little jarring because where you thought there was a big lot, there's now a subdivision.
Okay, but the pace of things here, it's like we're building, but we're not even planning on the roads. I mean, you're putting all these places in, but yet the roads aren't even ready to handle it. The sewer's not ready to handle the infrastructure. I mean, why do we allow...
That is not us. That is not under our jurisdiction. With something like Richmond, Glowackies, something was going to happen to Glowackies regardless of whether it was this or something else.
Well,
we don't have the power to deal with that.
Who does?
The planning board can say you need to do X, Y, and Z, but it becomes the town, the administration, the board of selectmen to deal with what exactly, and the DPW and the sewer department and everything else to work with these large developments, and there are very few large developments left to actually come before us. That's what I'm saying. We're seeing much more of these small ones.
I understand.
The large ones are very jarring.
No, I understand, but it's a lot of small ones. The building here is crazy.
And again, if it's an A&R plan, the planning board must approve it or disapprove it because you got to airlift into it. And then the DPW, the sewer department, the town deals with the sewer end of it. Okay. We require the plan for a sewer or septic or whatever they're on, water. We require that on a plan for some of these. But the ultimate thing is, will the DPW give them a sewer permit?
Yes.
They will or they won't. That is beyond us. That's not in our jurisdiction.
All right. Who should do it?
We've changed zoning a lot.
Well, who did
we've been following
Who was
the master plan.
responsible for the building cap in the past? Who did that?
I was back in there.
Yeah, but who was responsible for that? You?
No, it wasn't the planners. It was, I'm trying to think I think it was a citizen's petition.
And so it came up.
I think that's how it came in the first time. It's been 30 years.
I keep hearing, that didn't work. It
didn't, because
but
it's
not working now.
Counterproductive.
I mean, look at the roads, Linda.
Oh, the roads are terrible.
They're terrible.
They're terrible.
So what's the priority here? To just build as much as we can, not take care of the roads, don't do
I think the town...
Forget about traffic.
No.
Forget about...
Town has an obligation to deal with these roads. But that is not the planning board because that's a public. These are public roads.
Yeah.
However, probably over 80% of the roads on Nantucket are private roads that are in tough shape.
Well, I think our public roads are in tough shape.
The public roads are worse after this winter for some reason. The potholes you disappear into and never come out again. And they carve up the side of the roads. I mean, there's a lot of things we can get together.
Definitely.
But it's not necessarily the planning board that's in control of the roads.
I know, but
we have our jurisdiction under the state law. Right. And we got to stay there. We cannot.
But if the town said to you, Linda, we're going to slow this down,
they have to deal with it. We can't.
And what would you do? You'd do what you were told.
No, we don't.
No, if they said we're slowing it down,
they have to find a way to slow it down. The planning board cannot slow it down legally.
Okay.
If somebody comes to the planning board, we don't go out and look for these subdivisions. If they make an application, we have to consider the application. We have no choice but to consider the application. We can't tell you, well, the town wants to slow it down. We can't hear you. That's not the way it works.